There's a really tough part of meal planning that a lot of people don't talk about. It's really easy to write down and have a meal plan, and then it's even somewhat easy to go to the store and buy the groceries that are for it. The hardest part of meal planning is taking action. Hello, welcome back again to my channel, Pursuit Over Perfection. And if you are new here, welcome. My name is Tammy. I love to encourage women to help organize their chaos one routine at a time. We've been talking all about meal planning and ways and reasons why it's really helpful and then how to stay consistent with it. And today I wanted to kind of close it all up by showing that you can have the plan and you can have all the food, but unless you're willing to actually take action, it's not gonna happen. As a recovering perfectionist and as someone who likes to have a plan and have it all looking pretty, the planning part was easy. That's always been easy for me. It was always the taking action. Someone that gets bored with something or doesn't know how to take things to the end. The action part is so often the hardest part. And I don't want to discount the fact that as moms, we have so much on our plate and we can make plans all we want, but this is where it actually comes to fruition. As I mentioned last week, I talked about the importance of the consistency, and the reason why it's really important to be consistent is that way you can kind of take a look at what your schedule is going to be like. But another key factor in planning your meals is also taking into account your energy levels. Sometimes we just discount that. We can put on these meal plans that we're going to make this meal, this meal, this meal, this meal, and they're all really intensive recipes that take a lot of ingredients or take a lot of time right there standing at the stovetop and you can't walk away and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes you just don't have the energy to do that. First of all, that's okay. We don't need to want to spend all our time in the kitchen. Even if you do want to spend time in the kitchen, sometimes your energy to do so have been consumed by your little ones that are running around your house. Here's what I like to pay attention. Those first few weeks that you're making your meal plan, pay attention to the meals that you enjoy making, that you have no problem making, and that on days that you're just like, gosh, I know I can make this. I just don't feel like doing it. Now, I'm going to caveat and say that feelings don't necessarily mean that you don't have to do it. It's tricky because you do want to pay attention to your feelings, but feelings are not a fact. Like, you can still make that dinner. It's just that you may not be at that energy level that is required of that recipe. So here's some examples that I'm trying to convey to you. On Mondays, after I've had the weekend to kind of refresh and reset and have my husband here to help with meals, I feel really good. So Mondays and Tuesdays, I'm like, yes, let's make a good meal. I'm not minding being in the kitchen and that kind of thing. Wednesdays, I like to do a crock pot meal just because it's a little less time consuming. But by Thursdays, I am kind of done. I don't really feel like making another meal. And, by then there's bound to have been at least one or two meals that one of my children have not enjoyed, even though they loved it from a couple weeks before. I know I'm not alone in that. The difference is that you can pay attention to the days that you do have regularly lower or higher energy. Why that's important is because, as I've said, it's key to actually have a meal plan is taking action on it. You can have all the groceries in the house and you can have the meal plan down on paper and it look beautiful and think this is how we're gonna eat healthy this week. But unless you take action, it doesn't matter. So what I like to do is I like to focus that Thursdays, I know my energy is gonna be low. So I plan for a super simple meal. It's gonna be something either like throwing chicken nuggets in the oven, making some mac and cheese, eating leftovers, or even we've started implementing pancake night and my son can now make pancakes and so he does it and I'm just supervising, which is amazing. That's something that I think is really key. Now, I am blessed that my kids are a little bit older. They've continued to keep growing. I can't keep them little forever, but it's also something that we can make sure that we're implementing your kids getting involved and having them be helpers because you are a family and a family unit needs to work together and you don't have to bear the burden all alone. what I wanted to wrap up this series with is just making sure that you understand that you aren't alone in this. And even if you have little ones in the house that can't help you with the cooking, you know, they can help you put some plates on the table. They can help you clear their plates from the table. And the thing is that ask your husband for help. Ask for input. Stop feeling like you've got this huge weight on your shoulders that everything has to be perfect. I'm preaching to the choir and saying that because as a recovering perfectionist, it still is something that I feel like things need to be perfect or I can't do them at all. And that's just not the case. Something is better than nothing. And if we can have 2 or 3 really great healthy meals and then have those as either leftovers or have the occasional chicken nugget and mac and cheese night, it's gonna be okay. I hope this video has given you some insight on why meal planning really is important and that you can take action on it. It's not something that needs to just be pretty on paper, but you can actually implement these things in your everyday life because you're working to find something that works for you and your family. What works for me isn't going to be necessarily the perfect fit for you. And there is no such thing as a perfect routine because life and circumstances are always changing. Be okay with that and know that routines are flexible and that you can simplify your life by organizing your chaos one routine at a time. Please be sure to subscribe to this channel for future videos on organizing your chaos, and I hope you have a blessed day.